In today's episode of Widow Wisdom and Wealth, you are going to meet Donna Meador. Yes, another Donna. Two of us having a conversation. And Donna is somebody who didn't think she was a perfect fit for our podcast because she didn't have naturally born children. But what she did have was an amazing story of finding love a little later in life, navigating adult children in that relationship, navigating the loss of her first husband, Pietro, and then finding love again and the joys of a new blended family, with lessons learned from her first experience and also a transition of moving herself into a new career, picking herself up after some financial stress, rebuilding her life with her new husband, and starting Smart Divas Dating. I think she's a perfect fit for this podcast, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Hello, and welcome to Widow Wisdom and Wealth. I am so happy today to share a conversation with Donna Meador. I actually stopped myself from talking too much because I wanted everyone to understand the energy of the two Donnas in the room today. So Donna is the Smart Dating Diva Queen. Donna isn't just a coach. She's a love alchemist, turning dating disasters into romantic triumphs. And after finding and losing great love, she never expected lightning to strike twice until destiny proof loved is electric at any age. Blending spiritual alignment with practical clarity, Donna helps smart, single, soul searching women decide before the fourth date if he's a keeper or just a stepping stone. Oh, Donna, where were you 8 years ago when I was like dipping my toes a second time into the dating world as a widow? Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. And wow, what a pleasure to be here, Donna. I love your mission. As a widow, I found myself off kilter. So grateful for you in the world and offering help to the other widows who don't know where to go. I
Yeah.
take on the dating aspect. Numbers in me were like, but relationships, yeah, that's my that's where I groove best.
Yeah, and we actually did share before the podcast the fact of like widowhood took us down this weird curve, right? And this is where our mission is now, right? And you're on that dating side, and I'm on the financial side. So just tell us right now, so listeners know who's before them. I gave a brief little bio, but tell us where you are today. What does your family structure look like? And so we can get to know who Donna is here, and then we'll back up into your story.
Yeah, that's a great formula you've got there because, yeah, who I am today and who I was, two different stories. I am so happily remarried right now, and that does not negate my late husband. He's part of our trio. I like to tell people I have a late husband and a now husband, you know? So we get along really well. Nobody fights for the bathroom. It's all good. And I have an amazing partner who supports that journey. So I am remarried and I have three bonus kids. They come into my life when they're 30. I always say that's the perfect age for me because I didn't have any biological children of my own. But I can skip over the teen years and go right into the 30s. And what a joy it has been to have that experience to be, gosh, that parent. I mean, mom just passed in April, and I was able to share with her, Mom, guess what my daughter Carissa told me? She said my life was better with me. Her life was better with me in it. And it's like, what mother doesn't want to hear that?
Yeah, what an
So,
absolute blessing. I love
yeah,
that, right? And being like, it
yeah.
doesn't have to be my birth child, right? This is
Oh,
my bonus child, my blessing child, my soul child. That's the
yeah.
best part of it. Well done. I love
100%.
that.
And I'm a grandmother. So my middle
Ooh,
daughter got married to a man with four kids, and my son just had a baby, and he's in Japan. Like I went from zero to, I don't know what, 15 kids and grandkids in my life, like in the snap of a finger, and it's been delightful.
I love it. Now, how long have you been remarried?
6 years.
6 years. Got it. And can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit of the love story of meeting Jeff? And then we'll back up into the beginning story. I love the love stories.
Okay, but do I have to keep it PG? I guess that's my question.
A little bit, little bit.
Okay,
There
okay,
could be
okay.
kids in the car
Okay,
listening.
okay, we'll keep it clean. It's interesting. After Pietro departed,
Mhm.
and it was very sudden. We knew he was sick. He went to Mexico. He ended up dying of a heart attack and a stroke almost immediately. We were only like 3 or 4 weeks in. So I didn't expect to go out and date again. That was not on my radar. I was one of the widows that went numb.
Mm.
And I don't know, I'm sure widows listening to this podcast, some go numb and some need to get into physical relationships right away. There's words for that, there's science behind it, there's philosophy behind it. I was one of those people that went numb. And so I couldn't feel anything, Donna.
Mm.
I couldn't feel. And it took about a year, 8 months to a year for my body to wake up.
Yeah.
And when it woke up, I was like, oh, okay. What do I do now? Oh, okay. Now, if we can back up just for a second, I'm
Please
a
do.
woman. Okay, thank you. I'm a woman who went out dating in her early 40s, did not know what I was doing, proceeded to read all the books.
Okay, so anyone listening to the podcast, there is a bookshelf of books behind our Donna, and they are everything from Men Are From Mars to, I mean,
The
there's just,
rules and all the books of the time. And there was something missing for me, so I wrote a book. I never had the intention or the thought that it would go anywhere or I'd sell it one day. I just knew I needed to write a book because something was missing.
okay, tell us
And so
about that book.
huh?
What was that book?
And that book that I wrote was Dating, It's Not Personal.
Is it a comedy?
Donnie, you went out dating. Was it personal? It felt it, didn't it?
Oh my God, every little bit of it, from the person I was when I learned to date in my 20s and married my first husband, to the woman I was after his loss and my little scar tissue there, to
Yeah.
the mom that was presenting herself on dates. It was complicated. Yep.
Yeah, it's what
Yeah.
a journey. What a journey. And the whole thing was in the beginning, and again, I'm in my middle 40s.
Mhm.
Why am I not having fun? Like that was the big thing. Okay, I'm not having fun. I'm going to figure out why. And that's why I started to write the book. So what's really cool about the book is I started to write it in 2004. But dating doesn't go out of style. The nuggets in there are real. It's my journey right up until I met my late husband.
Tell
Right?
us
So
about that.
now it's like a love story. It's like,
Yeah.
whoa. So here I am, fast forward, he passes away. I'm numb,
Mhm.
trying to figure out how to connect the dots, make it work. And we'll get into that a little bit later about the finances because that's super important. I got a roommate to help me with all that stuff. And about 8 months to a year after he had departed, my body woke up and I now was faced with the complications of, oh, darn it, I got to go back out there and date again. So I read my own book. I refreshed my memory. The irony of this story, however, is that I was not looking for love. I couldn't figure out how I could fall in love when I was already in love.
Uh, yeah.
That, right? You can relate to that, right, Donna?
Yeah, actually, my current husband Jim has actually brought that up when we were talking about getting married. He's like, it's a little different because he came from a divorce situation, and he's
Mhm.
like, his quote was, "I chose to divorce. We fell out of love, and we both knew it." He's like, "You still loved your husband and never stopped. So how do
Right.
you love someone who's in love with someone else?" It's
Mm.
tough. It was tough for him, and I gave him all the credit in the world for saying it out loud to me. I did.
Got chill. I got chills.
Yeah.
This is beautiful, and kudos to him.
Yeah, so
Kudos to Jim because one of my goals, and Jeffrey actually agreed with me, is that, or he understood. I never wanted him to feel like he was second fiddle.
mhm.
I never was going to put my late husband in front of him. But here's my favorite word of the moment that anybody can write down because this will resonate with anybody. Different. The love is different.
Yep.
You love each of your children different. And so this is a different relationship, but it was still a hurdle. So I went out not to look for love, Donna, but to look for companionship and multiples. I was not looking for any rules. I didn't want any rules. I wanted to stay in my bubble. I didn't want to double date. I didn't want to meet families. I'm just going to be date, go on dinner, maybe have a drink. At the time, I smoke cigars, so maybe a cigar, maybe some fun, and then go home. Go home, leave, go home, and text me in a week if you want. But I couldn't handle any of the regiment of what might go along with a relationship. And I'm putting quotes in the air for those listening to the
Well
podcast.
done. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. So we all come from a different place, but 6 months after I started dating, Jeff walks into my life. And this is a God ordained connection. It was a spiritual connection. I love how it all rolled out. It went against his intentions, his conscious, I'm going to call it conscious intentions. It went
Mhm.
against my conscious intentions. But as soon as he reached out to me on the dating app, my heart stopped.
Yeah.
And I'm in denial because I'm like, okay, like I don't think he understands I'm dating multiple men. I am not looking for love. I think I had this conversation with him 3 times in the first week.
You're setting your rules out, weren't you?
I was I was as clear as could be. I don't think you understand. I'm not looking for love. And he just kept nodding. I thought he was hard of hearing. He just kept nodding and smiling at me. Turns out on our second date, which was like, I don't know, 4 days later, um, he knew he was going to spend the rest of his life with me.
Ugh.
How smart was he not to say anything? How smart, brilliant man, right?
Imagine without, if he would have, where that could have sent you. You might have
Oh
just been like,
yeah.
yep, swipe the other way and block.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. Yes. And I could see, but I could feel how he felt about me, Donna.
Yeah.
I could feel it. And I kept saying, this is not right. And so I'm dating him now the first week. We have 4 dates. I went against my own rules. Went against my own rules, but I wasn't looking for love. So there was the exception, right?
So these rules didn't apply, right? This
These
is just
rules didn't
having
apply
fun.
because I wasn't looking for forever only. I wasn't doing that anymore. I had him, and one of my siblings asked my mother at the time, I guess she was in her late 80s, so is Donna dating anybody special? And she says no, but I know who he is.
Oh, he's been identified, located.
It was tricky. I think it was literally 8 days, 8 days, Donna, and I was head over heels in love, trying to figure out how can I be in love when I'm already in love and all of that. So it was a process. This is what I help women discern.
So I love that you share that story, and we're just going to go, okay? We might not follow the pattern of this podcast. That sounds wonderful. And that's what I would actually say. I probably was very hopeful to have found when I went on the dating apps. I had to be forced kicking and screaming to go on the dating apps by my friends. I was like, no, 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 no. Like, met my first husband organically. I don't have time for that. I'm not going to do it. Right. But then you get in there. Right. And it feels so good. It was a dopamine hit every time someone likes you or something like that. Like, you can't kind of keep yourself off of it. But for many people, they do believe that someone like Jeff, after 4 dates or 8 dates, that's it, that's the one. And there's so many people out there that aren't that genuine.
Mhm.
And I just, when you share this story, I'm like, oh, I just don't want the listeners to feel like if this doesn't happen for them,
Oh,
or do you know what I'm saying? Or
yes.
to just not get taking advantage of waiting for this to happen. This
Yes.
is a rare story,
It
right?
is a rare story. It's a
So
rare story. And I know where you're going with this, right?
do it.
What are we going to help our women with on this podcast? Okay. So it is a rare story,
A
but
beautiful one.
and
A
a
beautiful
beautiful
one.
story. But remember, I'm the woman who started doing the research about dating, what, 25 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Educate us. Go.
Okay, so this is what my membership is about. This is why women join the membership. I had one of my dating divas tell me last week. She said I'm addicted to this because she feels the support, because the nuances of dating. And to your point, Donna, when you said, "Wait a minute, I met my husband organically. What is a dating app?" A dating app is organic.
Mm,
If you, and not everybody does, I'm a dating intuitive, Donna. So I'm a big believer in the laws of attraction, the understanding of what we're putting out, we get back. So a lot of my clients come to me because I help them remember who they are with the proper mindset And if we do back up and look at it, I mean, in my mid 40s, it took me 3 years to meet my first husband
There you go.
because I was on the misunderstanding of what it was about. How do you do it? How do you know if you're on the same page? What are the red flags out there? That's what I teach in the membership.
Mhm.
All right. So, to their point and to your point, dating is organic no matter where you meet them.
Well done.
All right. Well done. Thank you. What do you want to say? Because I see you have a question.
No, no, no. It's just
Yeah.
mm. A lot of the listeners here, and I know it too, and I felt it as a widow, felt like, oh, I'm dating too early, right? And like you said, like some
Mm.
people, your body is numb and you're going through all of the grief, right? For me, because my husband took his life, I needed to feel like somebody thought I was worthy. Somebody thought I was worth paying attention to.
Oh.
So, but there was a lot of pushback between friends thinking that, maybe I went back dating, too early after the first year,
Mm.
or that I was still in that fog, right? So I wasn't putting my intuitive self out there, right? Probably right, by the way. Listeners, and if you are those people who loved me, I'm saying right now, you were probably right. But that isn't everybody, right? Like
No.
it wasn't everybody. And there can be a lot of other people telling you, like, oh, too soon, or God, she waited too long, get out there when you still feel numb. So give us some guidance on that.
Yeah, I love it. There's two things going on here. First of all, Donna, you had children.
Mm,
So I didn't.
yep.
But I did have my late husband's children.
Mhm.
And that was a very murky water to navigate. I didn't know how to navigate it. I'm sure I didn't do it correctly. They ended up having to separate. They had to segue away from me. And that was painful. That was
Mhm.
super painful. It was like losing my husband all over again.
How many
But
years were you together?
we were together 10 years.
Okay.
And his kids were also older, right?
Okay.
So his youngest at that time was a young teen, it was a mid-teenager, and then the older ones. But they embraced me as dad's wife or grandpa's wife, but never as a stepmom.
Okay.
And I accepted that. That was fine. They were older. Okay, what do I know about this? I got married with Pietro. I walked down the aisle at 50. So I get it. Um, when I went out to date, that was kind of fine. That was kind of fine. And then when I fell in love, as fast as I did, I'm doing the quotes again in the air, they couldn't handle that. So that was a very painful moment for me in time. And it took me years to do energy work and spiritual work to release that weight because it was so heavy. And then I learned not to own it, right? That's a
Yeah.
process. So you had kids.
Mhm.
So naturally you put your head to the wheel and you said, "Okay, I got to figure this out. I just lost all the income.
Mhm.
What's this look like?" And I didn't have kids, so it was just me. And so I kind of hit the floor.
Understood.
I hit the floor and I just woo. So let's see. Now, you asked me a question specifically to help you navigate, and I just lost it. What was it?
It's just about helping our listeners navigate when they get like, is it too soon? Is there a good time? Other people are telling me yes or no. Like, how do you find that deep in your soul of I'm ready, right?
Now, isn't
Versus
that
throwing ourselves out there. And does that ever happen?
yes? Okay, yes. It's tricky, isn't it? Because you're hearing everybody's stuff. Here's an interesting scenario. After I married Jeff, and by the way, we got married literally one day to the year after we met.
Okay.
My mother was my maid of honor.
Oh.
It was awesome. Um, it's tricky to when we hear what people are saying. So we have to now discern who we're going to listen to. After I was married, a friend of mine who just became widowed turned me on to a widow Facebook group. It was actually WIDs, Widow and Widowers.
Mhm.
And there they were able to express themselves without worry about judgment. And I'm writing another book, and it's about grieving and intimacy. And I had questions, and they were generic questions for this group, specifically because they were widowed and widowers, right?
Mhm.
And but I didn't ask if you had kids or didn't have kids, so it's not that detailed and scientific. But I did put questions out there, and I said the first year was the hardest year for me. And my sister, who had widowed 2 years before me, said, "Oh, if you think that's hard, wait till the second year."
Mhm.
I
That
almost
makes you
fell
feel great.
that was like, oh my God, what? So I went into the widow group and I said, I put up a poll.
Mhm.
I did a poll and I said, what's the take? And I didn't ask the details, who had kids, who didn't have kids, and how they lost their spouse. I just, how old they were. I just said, was the first year worse or was the second year worse?
Mhm.
And much to my surprise, the majority, and it may not be a big majority, it might have been like 35 and 65, it might have been something like that. But the second year was worse for many.
Mhm.
And I figured out and I deduced probably because they had children. And when you're trying to raise your children and earn money and figure out what's been lost and how you make it up, and then everybody kind of goes away in the second year. They think you've got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And many times we put that energy out there. We don't want people to worry about us. And we're like, oh,
Yes.
yeah, we're the brave widow. We're the bestest. We've got this. No worries. And inside you are screaming, being like, oh my God, if they knew the roller coaster, if it's really happening financially, or if it's even just in our head of worry. So I know you had your own journey. Do you mind like sharing with the listeners about that financially for you as a widow?
Oh, 100%. I'm a Legal Shield rep as well, so I sell legal plans and never made enough to sustain myself by myself, but it worked out well with my late husband's Social Security. And
Oh,
then
so
guess
that's what you were doing when you were married to Pietro.
yes,
Okay.
I would. Yeah, so I fell in love with it as a former Girl Scout and love to help people. And
You giver.
yeah, I'm a giver, and
You're
I
a
didn't want to
giver.
have to go to college. By the way, I mean, Donna, look what you had to study and perfect. That requires your brain, and my brain went, "Oh yeah, that's not going to work for me. I don't need to become a lawyer. I just need to tell you where to get them at a very good cost." But I lost everything. I mean, when my salary wasn't my income wasn't enough. I mean, I'm self-employed at this point, right?
Mhm.
I'm a 1099. And so, and by the way, don't even talk to me about spousal pay. What do you get? Like 150, $250
Oh, yeah, the
like
spousal
fee?
benefit, you get a one-time, very small fee. So, yeah. And were you
I-
eligible for like Social Security coming to you as a widow?
So, and that's a great point. And
Yeah.
to your listeners, anybody listening who's a widow, look looking to get remarried, if they're close to the year 60, and again, I don't know where in the country if this changes, check with your lawyer or your CPA or whatever,
Or your financial
but
advisor. Go ahead.
financial advisor, thank you, thank you. Um, I was about to get married. I got married
Hmm.
4 months after I turned 60.
Hmm.
And I realized, ooh, I think I can claim Pietro's Social Security. It was like this afterthought. It was like, oh, so I called them up, Donna,
Hmm.
and I said, "Well, how do I collect my, no, I was collecting mine. I didn't even think about his. And I said, I'd like to collect, what do I have to do to collect my Social Security?
Hmm.
And so we're chatting a little bit because they're not really forthcoming in conversation. And I happened to mention something about my late husband. And he stopped me and he says, wait, do you want to collect your late husband's Social Security? And it was like, yes, yes, I do.
You didn't know. Like, let's try it.
I mean, that sounded like a better option to me, having no knowledge about it. So again, I bless you for what you do, Donna. I had no knowledge. It was like I tripped into this thing that I feel like my spirit guides and God had walked me through. And so now I'm like, oh, yay. And then I mentioned the fact that I was remarried, and he goes, wait,
Yeah.
how old were you? How old were you when you, and like he literally was, I choked. I was like, I couldn't get through the math. I was like, wait, like, oh my God. I go, yes, yes, I was 60. I was 60. And he goes, okay, good. I was afraid to ask what would have happened if I wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will share for listeners when I remarried my Jim, because I am going to be 52, I gave up the rights to my late husband's Social Security in the future. I did.
Right. But you knew it.
I did know it. I absolutely know it, right? I absolutely know it. Now, if something happens to Jim, well, let's talk about that 360 again. We have
That's
other
right.
options.
That's right.
But Social Security is an ever-changing conversation. And I really appreciate you, Donna, bringing this up as an example because we do so much work with our widows and our widowers to get them, quote unquote, strong on their feet, right? And making sure that we can really stage the decisions that have to be made, the ones that could be tabled for a few years, and then those dreamy, forward-thinking conversations in my work as a financial planner. But part of that is when you find love again, right? And making sure that as we move through that relationship, we aren't giving up some of our rights to
Unknowingly.
pensions. Exactly. Our rights to medical coverage, our rights to
Right.
Social Security and being educated by it, because that can change. And I'm telling you, many of my clients be like, well, you just sucked the fun out of love. I'm like, ooh, or I gave you the tools to love one another better and in a planned, wonderful way of appreciation. I think my husband felt very, and he'll do a podcast. I don't know if you've seen any of them. He's a hoot.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure he'll even say like, and if not, he'll correct me. He always does that, it made him feel really good as a man that I loved him so much to say, financially, I'm all right. I'll hold off. Like I will get married. I don't need to get that benefit. I know financially we'll be okay. And we were lucky enough to know we could
Yeah.
say yes to that. But it's not a yes for everyone. And it might
No.
be a yes in a few years. There are ages. So always reach out to your financial advisor and make sure that they help you with the guidance. But thank you for bringing that up.
And to your point, Donna, I was broke. I went
Yeah.
bankrupt after Pietra died. So I didn't have a financial advisor because, and you correct me if I'm wrong,
Yep.
I felt like you have to have money to talk to a financial advisor. And
Mm,
I didn't feel like I had any, number
yeah.
one. So to your point, for your listeners. And the second thing is I went bankrupt, okay, and got a roommate, which not only helped with the bills, but I will say helped with the silence because that was excruciatingly painful for me.
Yep.
I didn't have kids running around, it was silent.
Yeah.
And here's another part of the love story. When Jeff met me,
Mhm.
and we knew, like, within a week or two what was happening, he goes to his job and he makes me his beneficiary. He
Okay.
puts me on. He says, I never want you to go through that again.
Yeah.
Right? My husband did not have life insurance. No, by no fault of his own. I met him when he was older. We
Mhm.
couldn't afford it. It was right after '08, so we played the gamble game, right? We figured, well, we need money now. Let's try to figure out what we're doing. We need money to pay the rent. We need money to live, so we can't afford that extra $500 for life insurance. Jeff turned around and he not only made me his beneficiary, but he got life insurance and made me his beneficiary. But outside of the job, Donna, that's important to note.
Yeah. I'm
Outside
glad
of
you
the
brought that up.
job,
Yeah,
I'll let
so
you go
many
that way.
people have life insurance going through their own employer and then they retire. And so life insurance goes away. And that's where we have other vehicles of savings, right? Like whole life
Mhm.
insurance, permanent life insurance, and term,
Yeah,
knowing like what are the key things you want to protect. And I love that Jeff wanted to protect your ability to never have to feel that again,
yeah,
right? We always say, what is the goal of this life insurance? There's many different products out there. And what's the perfect fit? Well, that really has to understand your goal. And I want to back up just a little bit. I love that you said like too, like I didn't have any money. I didn't have a financial planner, right? And that is one of the big missions of why we do this podcast, right? And why I write my books and why I go out there and speak, because I just want to make sure that everyone knows that with a little bit of education, a little bit of guidance, right, that you can make those good decisions. And so, no, not everyone can afford maybe that financial planner, but maybe this one has a subscription basis. And I just need to work with them for a year to really like get myself set and get that education and understanding. So many people will say like, oh, they're too expensive. And my industry pretty much can be very expensive, right? But you can find a financial advisor or a financial coach that has good credentials and who can help because you can't afford to make that next mistake when we're coming out of bankruptcy, when we're putting up our bootstraps, when we're trying to afford our kids, when their survivor benefits from Social Security might be aging out. And now you have to make up for lost income. Lovely. I love that you brought that up, but I want everyone to know out there, my industry, well, my day job, I'm a financial planner. And if you reach out to the CFP board, right? Reach
right,
out to the Financial Planning Association and say, I need help. There are so many advisors that do pro bono work.
right.
Don't
Wow.
not reach out. don't not reach out and get the education and someone to hold your hand and partner up.
Right.
I truly done it. And I'll say it again. I wish I had you in my corner when I started dating, right? That's almost the same analogy of like, oh, someone who knows how to navigate this and answers those questions for me
Right.
because I don't want to ask my neighbors. I don't want them to know I'm dating.
Right. No, seriously. Yeah, we're in the same boat, aren't we? Like we don't want people to, I mean, I know people who don't want to tell people they're dating. I go, well, why is it a secret? I mean, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
because judgment, and we don't know what people are going to say. And it was very difficult for me to go to my late husband's children and tell them I was in love. I mean, that was I didn't know how to do it, you know.
Yeah.
So I just blurted it out. And anyway, but to the point of the widows going out to date or even divorcees. And
Hmm.
if you have the story, there's no good men out there anymore. You can just listen to this podcast because you've got two Donnas who have two amazing men who are
Hmm.
there. They want to be there.
They want
And
to be in our kids' lives, right? And
they
we want
want,
to be in
that's
their
right.
kids' lives. And it's nice.
Isn't it beautiful? And another thing, Donna, before I think it was before my bankruptcy was complete. Jeff came over, and again, we were probably dating 3 weeks, and I have this distraught look on my face, and he's asked me what's the matter, and I can't tell him because he's just this guy I'm dating. I can't tell him,
Yeah.
and you have to tell me. And I said, I don't know how I'm going to pay the mortgage this month. And he says, Is that all? I
Oh,
go, Is that all? Who are you? I go, Doesn't that stress you out?
yeah.
And his reply, It's what I was born to do.
Oh.
Men love to be there for their women.
Mm.
And I teach in my membership how to discern what you're feeling and what you're going through.
Oh, I
Because
love that word. Say it again.
discern, discern, discern.
We're gonna put it in bold print on the YouTube part to start because that's it. Like you are like, am I being too vulnerable or am I keeping secrets? And am I
Right.
being earnest or am I scaring them off? Like it goes through our heads. We have our mind that we think from the front, we have the little mind in the back talking, and then all the other inputs of life. We're lucky we're standing every day. Like,
Yeah,
come
right.
on.
Yeah, now I can't speak to the children part of it, Donna. You could, but I can speak to the adult children part of it.
Please do.
My mother became a widow in her late 80s, and she it was clear not that she was going to remarry, but she's surrounded by five daughters, one son.
Protective ones. You're from the
Yeah,
East
right,
Coast, right?
right, yeah, yeah, yeah,
We a little
right.
juicy up there.
Oh, yeah, real
So,
juicy, yeah. She had a son, my brother, but he had a wife, so there's six women, and I could tell because of the field I'm in and the women I speak to of all ages that she was yearning for some companionship with a male species, not female. And my brother wasn't cutting it, right? So she ended up reuniting with somebody that she knew from 40 years earlier. He actually knew my dad, and they became friends. And she was not going to remarry. That was the part that I think some of my siblings and maybe spouses said, if you remarry, you're changing the dynamics. Now because we're adults, we're in our 50s, we're in our 60s, we're heading towards 70. You have the will, you have everything set up, and now you want to get married. What does that look like? That's a conversation,
yeah.
but that wasn't going there. She had no intention of marrying him, even though he would have loved to. And I want to share you a fun treat when you tell me it's okay right now about my mother. If
Yeah,
that,
please do. Let's do this.
I'm going to do this because this is just a woman after your heart, Donna. This is a folder I received after my mom passed.
Okay.
One of my siblings went around and handed us all a folder. She probably didn't know that they make these things on Amazon, right? She filled out all the information, the things you need to know, the legal stuff, the banks, the health care, other important information, right? Like life insurance policies. And the last one, let's party.
I love it.
And she put a bank account together so that we could throw her a beautiful celebration of life, and she instructed us not to be cheap. This is an anomaly for sure. My parents worked toward this their entire life, and they got to live out the exact design that you help people with, Donna. The
Yeah.
exact design of what it looks like as we age and we end up in that place.
Mm.
And to a T, she did it.
Yeah.
And in 2 more months, we'll have her celebration of life.
Oh, I love that. And everyone got the folder. Everyone has the same information, all organized. Oh, I wish I
Yeah.
could have her on a podcast. We're gonna have someone just to channel her in. And we will have a podcast with that because I would just want to clap. Like, how fantastic is that?
Yeah.
And a blessing for the next generation to have
Yes.
it all squared away, even down to I want you to have a beautiful celebration, right? There's another podcast out there, How to Have Your Own Fun Funeral. And I hope everyone listens to that after this one and be like, okay, I'm going to put it in writing too. So awesome.
Yes.
Thank you for
Yes.
sharing that story. I love it.
And she was an inspiration,
Yeah.
right? Because I saw what my parents were doing for us, and I want to feel what they felt. So I say to Jeff, we're going to do this. He's like, yeah, we are. Because so we want to pass along that great feeling. It's not just for us now. How much more fun is it that you can leave your kids, and in my case, my bonus kids, something that they can make their life easier with. That's the
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
And especially with that, like, because you have the bonus kids, and Jim and I have three. I have the older three, he has the younger three. So when something happens to us, I want our estate documents, our will, our healthcare director, our power of attorney to be as clear as humanly possible to make life easier for them. And each of them to understand the why, right, of how Jim and I tried to negotiate what was mine, theirs, his, ours, right? Like, and really just have everyone be well taken care of if
Mm.
something should happen to us, and to literally enjoy the process because they're going to miss us so much, right? But enjoy all the work we did to help make that process of closing our estate and having a beautiful party with a kibasi truck at my funeral. Like, this is the thing that I want them to be like, oh, that wasn't hard, right? Because I know they're really going to miss me early
Yeah.
on, especially. So I give myself a lot of credit, don't I? If my kids are listening, they're like, yeah, yes, sure, we are.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, yeah. No, I said to my mother, we're gonna be really sad when you go. And she said, of course you are, and you should.
yeah, I
And then
know.
I want you to party.
So, and this will be the last thing if you're okay with it. And please, if it's not something you want to answer, let me know. But from your experience with Pietro's kids and communicating about like his illness, right? His treatments, was there any life insurance? Was there estate documents versus what happened with that experience? And now you're in this other relationship with some more children and a different communication style, it feels like. What did you learn? What has changed? What are you doing differently?
Oh, thank you. I love this has been the most fulfilling interview, Donna, because
Oh.
I know we together are touching lives. And this is a hard conversation because I met Pietro when he was older,
Mhm.
and he had somewhat relationship with his kids. They were a little bit fragmented, but you know, we did the best. He did the best he could. He was off the boat Italian, by the way, so completely different culture.
Understood. You know, I lived there for
Or,
5 years, right?
huh?
I lived in Italy for 5 years. So,
Oh, right.
yeah, yeah.
Different culture.
It is, my friend.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
keep going.
I'm
That's
Italian
another
American,
podcast.
but I'm Italian American. But when I went to Italy, it was like, woo, okay, this is fun.
Yeah.
He was such a kind man. But he wasn't a communicator, and I didn't necessarily know or feel that it was my place to communicate these anything to his kids. I was sort of just moving along.
Yeah.
When he got sick, we did share that with the children. These adults, remember now they're in their 40s, I guess. And they all concluded that it was up to him to decide whether he wanted to go to traditional chemotherapy or to Mexico for immunotherapy.
Okay.
He chose Mexico, and as his wife, I was going to make that happen.
Hmm.
Okay. So friends of ours started a GoFundMe because everything is cash in Mexico. And I will say he was doing really, really well. We just didn't see far enough forward, Donna, and I don't know if you can because I didn't expect him to die.
Hmm.
And when I got notified when he went down, I went down.
Hmm.
I was in no position to pick up the phone and call his kids. So other people did this for me. And they only had to call one and then they called each other, but and then on the end of a very unfamiliar place where I was not being loved on. And I had to go collect his remains. So the next morning, again, because of friends, basically talk about a fog, picked me up, and I was off to Mexico the next day. I said my goodbyes. And Pietro was not one to want a casket or any of that. So that went against what some of his kids wanted. But he never had that conversation with them. And I think maybe that age group, maybe the generation, maybe it's because he was Italian from Italy. Maybe he just didn't feel a need to have that conversation with his kids. Um, the difference and again, I love my word different because now with Jeff, he was a very hands-on dad. Pietro was Italian, so in his mind, their mother should raise them. That was a very school way of thinking. You don't you don't take your kids away from their mother, right? And not that Jeff took the kids away from their mother, but they shared custody. So he was more hands-on. And that relationship today is more, we treat them like friends now because they're in their mid 30s and my son-in-law is 41 now. So I'm treating them as adults. I adore them. They're my kids. I tell them, you're my kids. You're in the will, like all of it. But you're also adult, and we want to help you understand that which I didn't when I was your age.
I like
So
how you say that. It's the
right?
wisdom you're trying to share on.
Yeah, because what did maybe you knew something, Donna. I didn't know anything at 30. 40 was the hardest year for me. I had chronic fatigue and again, living hand to mouth. And now I'm in a place where I understand hand to mouth is not romantic. There's nothing romantic about being broke, gang, okay? And so I had to change my money belief because I was romanticizing poverty, Donna.
Hmm.
So the difference with Pietro before I learned all that, and then what's going on with Jeff now, is us sharing with the kids now the way you're sharing with the clients listening to this podcast. We have more at our fingertips today than we did back in the day.
Yeah.
And we want them to walk on their strongest feet and be prepared. And we're going to do what we can to make their lives easier. But we come first. We have to come first.
Yeah.
We have to come first. And by the way, if I have a minute to share this, Pietro needed, excuse me, my now husband Jeff
Hmm.
needed to know that he was not going to be put behind Pietro.
Yeah.
He came first. Just like I needed to know that I was going to be put first before his kids. And what they have now learned, his kids now know beyond a shadow of a doubt that because I came first, they win.
I love
They
it.
come out winners because I was put first.
Yeah. And I think it's almost like the oxygen mask for the relationship
Yes.
before you guys can share that love and the communication and the teamwork with the extended family. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
All right, my friend, we've touched on so many different points, and I appreciate so much your honesty, your earnest conversation. One tip that you want to leave for the widows out there who are thinking about jumping into the dating world, and then please add how they can all find you. We will have all of your connections for social media at the end of the podcast available, but the best way for them to reach out to you.
I just had to remind myself of something, so thank you for that. Reaching out to me at smartdatingdivas.com is the best way to go.
Okay.
If they /ABC, they'll get a freebie
Ooh.
because the true love story is the love of self. And that's where we begin at Smart Dating Divas.
Oh, I love your mission. Thank you so much. Okay, Donna, we're going to end right here. I want to thank you so much for this wonderful conversation. And God, yeah, the next one we're going to channel your mom. She's going to talk to everyone about making that folder because I loved it. So I hope everyone goes to YouTube and can see it. It's awesome. So, oh, thank you so much.